Bonjour et bienvenue. Hello and welcome to Straight Through the Channel. This is the final part of the introduction series where we will be talking about family and pets, which means learning some new vocabulary. I will include vocabulary tables at the end of the video, but also how to translate the possessive adjective my. First, let us have a look at the vocabulary around family. Moi, ma mère, mon père, ma grand-mère, mon grand-père, mon oncle, ma tante, mon frère, ma sœur, which is spelled with a funny symbol we call the E inside the O, E dans l'eau, and is pronounced like an E. Mon cousin, ma cousine, mon fils, ma fille, ma nièce, mon neveu. Now for step-family and family-in-law, ma belle-mère, ma demi-sœur, mon demi-frère. For your spouse, mon mari or ma femme, mon beau-père, ma belle-mère, mon beau-fils. And finally, if your children have spouses, mon gendre, ma belle-fille or ma bru. You can notice that in French there is no difference between step-parents and parents-in-law. Now let's have a look at other relationships you might have in your life. I won't dwell on this, but I would still like for you to know how to pronounce them. Mon copain, ma copine, mon petit ami, ma petite amie, mon compagnon, ma compagne, mon or ma fiancé. So you can see that my can translate into mon, ma or mes. If you have watched the video on qualificative adjectives and agreements, you might remember that qualificative adjectives agree with the noun they describe. It is the same for the possessive adjectives, which means that mon is used in front of singular masculine nouns, and also to make pronunciation easier, mon is used in front of nouns that start with a vowel or a vowel sound. Remember, we do not pronounce the H in French, so a word starting with H and a vowel would be preceded by mon. Ma is used in front of singular feminine nouns, and finally, we use mes in front of plurals. Now, let's talk about pets. I have given a few words of vocabulary. Remember, you do not usually pronounce final consonants, so a snake would be un serpent, and a cat is un chat. If you are wondering about gender for animals, it is very similar to the English. Some animals are called the same whether they are male or female. For example, serpent for snake, poisson for fish, hamster for hamster, and oiseau for bird. Others, like in English, have a feminine form which is rarely used as it can have a different meaning which could be considered as inappropriate. For example, we tend to avoid the use of the feminine form for cat, chat, and dog, chien. Then you have feminine forms that are used often enough to be in everyone's vocabulary. Jument is the feminine version of cheval. And I didn't want to go into specifics, but I also don't like to give the wrong information just because it's easier. So, there is a feminine form for perroquet, which is perruche. It is, however, very rarely used as it more commonly describes a smaller bird which, in spite of being as colourful, does not have the ability to speak. Une perruche would therefore translate as a budgerigar or a budgie in UK English, and a parakeet in US English. To obtain the plural for any of these pets, just add an S, except for oiseau, as you have to add an X after AU. And the plural of cheval is an exception, and it is chevaux. So this should allow you to answer many questions about your family and pets. For example, as-tu des frères et sœurs? As-tu des animaux de compagnie? But also many questions about your loved ones, their names, occupations, age, and origin. As I keep asking you questions and never give any answers myself, I thought this time I will take the lead. J'ai un frère. Mon frère s'appelle Thomas. Il est informaticien, which means he works in IT. Mon frère a 24 ans. Mon frère est français. Il vient de Paris. Just in case you were wondering, please know the image is not an accurate representation of my brother. Before we finish, please find a list of vocabulary for family, including how to talk about your relationship status. And a table of the most common pets. My apologies if I haven't included a pet you own. And this brings us to the end of the introduction series. Now you can practice introducing yourself, your family members, and talk about your pets to help revise the conjugation of être, avoir, and venir, and learn even more vocabulary. Don't hesitate to comment any feedback you may have, and if you fancy it, the introduction of a loved one, real or imagined, including age, occupation, and origin. I hope you enjoyed this video and to see you soon on Straight Through the Channel. Merci et à bientôt!